All right, everyone. This is the opportunity where I say we get to lock the doors because we're going to have the business meeting because we need you all here to partake in the business of NACM as an organization. So I'd like to call to order the annual conference of the 2021 National Association for Court Management and our annual business meeting. I'd like to introduce Rick Pierce, our Secretary Treasurer. And Mr. Pierce, do we have a quorum?
Mr. President, we do have.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the business meeting. Mr. Pierce will join me in just a moment to deliver our treasurer's report. We will then be followed by each of the committee chairs to give you a brief update of their committee's work over the last year. You'll see some information flying by on the screens in front of you as part of that summary. And then we will go into our nominations process and then end with a few additional reminders. So without further ado, Rick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome everyone and good afternoon, and welcome to those joining us online from all across the country. I have the dubious distinction of talking about our financials right as you're eating lunch. But what I will tell you right now, and I will reiterate this throughout my comments, is that you may find full disclosure of our financials on your app there on your phone. So please feel free to check that out. As we go through what we accomplished over the last 2 years, starting in 2020, some of our highlights since we did not meet annually in 2020 in person. We had a successful mid-year conference in Charlotte, and then we had a virtual annual conference. It was the first of its kind, obviously for this organization, the first for many organizations across the country. And it was really a monumental achievement, and we really thank all of you that if you had that opportunity to participate last year. We had a virtual mid-year webinar series this year that started with monthly webinars from February through May that we were able to provide to our members high-valued education at a very low cost. We also have, as we know, a hybrid annual conference, but we've expanded that conference, the hybrid portion of it this year, to have that many more sessions that are live streamed than of usual. So our financial situation, what have we done to keep costs in line over this past year? And we understand that, as you all can read, that we have taken a hit in our finances. We've cut back on, we've had no board travel or president's travel throughout the year. We've done everything virtually, and our president has participated in our partner organizations, but done it on a virtual basis, which is something that's certainly not encouraged. Obviously, the pandemic had a lot to do with that, about in-person meeting, but certainly it is a financial issue as well when you're talking about the travel. We had a virtual mid-year conference, as I just stated, in our hybrid annual conference. We've had flat funding on many of the line items that we have control over in our operating budget. But we will say this, that our revenue has dropped off considerably, in large part because of the pandemic. And not only the revenue dropping off in membership renewals, but also dropping off in conference attendance. The proposed or the reduced budget expenses that you have seen in front of you are in large part because of that was a projection that was put forward. We did 3 budgets prepared, and then we actually prepared a 4th budget that showed what the cost would be and the revenue expected revenue would be for this year, with understanding that we normally have over 700 registrants for our annual conference, and this year we had to keep it at least initially at 200 registrants, and what was that going to do to our revenue stream. With that, I will close, and just as you see the figures in front of you, to please, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to use the chat feature in your app, or reach out to any one of the officers of NACM. Contact us. We'd be happy to talk to you, but we will also have an opportunity to take these questions and address them a little bit more in detail if necessary Thursday morning. So we do want to give you a few days to look at these financials. And if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us or put them in the chat feature. And we'll look forward to voicing them again on Thursday. And with that, I will move on to our next committee report, which I believe is communications. Is that correct, Aaron? So Mr. Charleston Carter. Charleston.
Good evening. It is my hope all is well with each of you and you find yourselves in good condition. My name is Charleston Carter, and I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the chair for the Communications Committee. Even a cell phone sometimes cannot silence a communications person. On the Communication Committee, there were several things that the communication want to make sure that we adhere to, and that was promoting and maintaining effective communication. And through that, we were able to do that through our podcast that many of you have listened to with sensitive ears and use that information in your court system. And it is our hope that you will continue to and encourage your staff to do so as well. We also had the Court Express and the Court Manager, and those are quarterly magazines as it relates to what the court community is doing. And when I say court community, that is you. When I say court community, I'm talking about family as it relates to the court system. And when I talk about the Court Manager, I'm referring to certain magazines and articles as it relates to ethics and technologies and so forth that you can utilize in your court system. You also probably had the additional webinars included as it relates to throughout the year. Sometimes we have normally 4, but because of individuals that you are and because we were going through the pandemic, we were able to add some additional webinars to that. We also have the NACM resource that you could be able to utilize. If you go to nacmnet.org, that's nacmnet.org, you'll be able to find all of our partners and so forth that be able to utilize their services. With that in mind, I know my 2 minutes is about to expire, but as it relates to the communications, there are also a few certificates and Lady Justice pins that I would like to give out. And with that is 4 individuals that I will give you your certificate and lady pin later. But one of the first individuals is Frank Hardest, who assisted in the Communications Committee. The second person is Dorothy Howell. The third person is Jeffrey Chappell. And the fourth person is Amanda Marshall. And all others who participate in the Communications Committee, thank you so much. And we have a motto, and I know that Communications Committee is one of the best communities, but I always like to say, how can you high jump if the bar is set low? And the Communications Committee never set the bar low. With that being said, I would like for Jeffrey Sunakawa to come up to give his presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
I don't know if membership's the best committee, because I've got education. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Sunakawa. I'm currently the Vice President of NACM, and I had the pleasure of being the chair of the Education Committee this year. The Education Committee was actually just established about 3 years ago. The board felt it was in our best interest to create sort of an umbrella committee that would sort of provide guidance and vision towards all of the education tracks that NACM does. So the education for our webinars, the education for our podcasts, for our guides and such. So there's actually 2 main subcommittees of education. We have the core subcommittee and we have the conference development subcommittee. Conference development subcommittee is responsible for everything that you see around you and everything you're going to experience the rest of the week. Kathy Griffin is the chair of the conference development subcommittee. She works with a very strong team of subcommittee members who also works with a lot of our folks at the National Center to put off this conference. I think they've done a great job, so kudos to Kathy for the mid-year virtual series as well as this hybrid conference. The core subcommittee was actually very active this year. They had the challenge of producing or reviewing 2 of our core two are core competencies, leadership and operations management. And they also carried through something that was sort of delayed for a year, our core champion program, which is a program that the board for many, many years has really envisioned as something for our members to provide really great education and something for that they can actually put on their resume that they actually accomplished. And so I want to give a shout out to Rick Pierce and to Kelly Hutton for seeing that program through. If you have questions about that, you can find the information on our website or ask any one of the board members. As Charleston mentioned, the NACM Resource Repository was sort of a joint effort between education and communications. So if there's anything you're looking for that NACM has produced, whether in a podcast, a court manager, a court express, a guide, a webinar, you could literally go to our resource repository, do a Google search, and you'll find any of those resources over the last 6 years electronically. So we wanted to provide a way for you to find anything that might be useful to your job at the tip of your fingers. So that went off live this year. Lastly, the Education Committee, in work with our educational consultant, we've narrowed down the themes for our 2023 conferences. So at the conclusion of this conference this week, we'll start next week planning for our mid-year conference next year in Bellevue, Washington in February and in Milwaukee next July. To close out my report, there are two individuals that I wanted to recognize. Neither of them could be here with us, but these two individuals actually led the curricular review for the two core competencies. So the Education Committee would like to award Our Lady Justice Pins to Brandon Hikamura from Hawaii and Ed McNacton from Ohio. Okay. Oh. And Kathy has two Lady of Justice pins for conference development, and I'm going to ask her to come up and let me know who those are.
Thank you, Jeffrey. The two from conference development, neither of them can be here, but they're watching virtually. I'd like to thank Sarah Brown Clark and Elizabeth Stevenson for all the volunteer work and all their comments and work that they've done throughout the year on the committee. I really appreciate both of them. And thank you to everyone that's been on the Conference Development Committee. Are you next? I'd like to turn it over now to Tina Madison, the Chair of Membership.
Hello, I'm Tina Madison. I'm the chair of the Membership Services Committee. You might remember me from just a couple minutes ago. So the Membership Services Committee's function is to answer any questions members have or non-members, people interested in our organization, about the benefits of NACM. We also, I think one of our other biggest oversights is trying to engage all of our members. And I think that's huge because NACM is an organization run by members for members. And so I think membership committee is the most important one, but that's my bias. So some of the things that we've accomplished this past year, we have worked on developing a new ambassador program that we're going to be rolling out this upcoming year. We've also been reaching out to all the state associations. We have dual membership agreements with several states, and that's just a great way for your state association and NACM to partner and both receive discounts for both memberships. We've also, on the slide, oh, it's gone. There I am. You can see we have also developed a corporate shopping app that you can find on our website under the member portal. So that gives you discounts from over 250 companies, and so you just enter NACM and you'll get discounts. One of the other things that our committee has is 4 different subcommittees. We have an awards committee. We have the state associations, as I mentioned, our International Committee, and our Early Career Professionals Committee. And I just want to give a shout out to Stacy Warby, who could not be with us. She's on the Early Career Professionals chair. And hi, Stacy. She's been great at trying to engage our early career professionals. And on that note, we have a mentorship program. And our mentorship program, I have to say, is amazing, because a lot of the people in this room have been NACM members for years, and they've offered their services to be mentors to the next generation coming up. And I actually received one of those back early in my career, and I hit the jackpot. I got Marcus Reichensmeyer. So Marcus, wherever you are, thank you so much, because he's been great for me, and I could go to him with questions about my career and moving forward. And so if anybody's interested about the mentorship program, please come see me afterwards. I think I'll wrap it up with, keep looking at myself, sorry. I want to wrap it up with our Lady Justice pins for the people that have worked really hard on the membership committee. It's a small but mighty group, and this year I want to acknowledge Jarrell Griffin from LA, couldn't make it, and Courtney Whiteside from St. Louis. She's worked really well with our early career professional group, and I want to thank her. And then last but not least is Janet Cornell, and all of the work that she's done on our international committee. There's been podcasts on that, and I really encourage you to go out and listen to those, because it's a fascinating area, international work. And that's something we don't think about all that often. And since my time is wrapping up, I do want to say that we do have membership committee meeting on Wednesday here, and I don't remember what room, but it's on your conference app. So join us 3 to 4 on Wednesday to learn more about membership, because this organization cannot run without you, and we really want your input. So thank you.
Good afternoon, and it is my esteemed pleasure to present the Governance Committee report on behalf of our chair, Angie Van Schork. Now, I will say, as the other committee chairs have stated, truly the Governance Committee is the most important. The Governance Committee is a permanent committee responsible for maintaining and updating the strategic plan, as well as the national agenda and recommendations and revisions to the operations manual and bylaws. This year, we have been able to accomplish the following. Our resolution in supporting of continuing efforts to meet civil legal needs is available for your perusal. The national agenda for 2021 and 2026 is also available for view on the NACM website. I want to thank NACM and the COSCA members for the collaboration on this new version, for without them during this pandemic, this wouldn't be possible. Additionally, we have a subcommittee on diversity, on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and is under consideration for a standing committee. And finally, a very important reminder, please complete the Voice of Profession survey, for without your feedback, we would not know how to continue this great work. If you're interested in the Governance Committee, we are meeting on Wednesday at 3 p.m., and we need talented people. But before I go, let me highlight some of the ones who have already been just that for this committee. From Arizona, we have Nicole Garcia, Utah Kim Free, Virginia Kent Pankey, and we will present our certificates of appreciation at a later date. Thank you and enjoy your conference experience.
Good afternoon. Am I live now? Yeah. Great. Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, my name is Will Simmons. I'm the immediate past president of NACM. I have been serving on the NACM board on and off since 2009, and so I'm here to present the nominations committee's slate of officers, which is very important work. So Dorothy said that they were the most important committee. I would say nominations committee is the most important committee because we present a slate of the next leadership of NACM. And so with that, per NACM's bylaws, our president, Mr. T.J. Bement, automatically becomes the immediate past president. And Kathy Griffin, who's our president-elect, will become our president per our bylaws. And so therefore, Mr. President, the nominations committee, by unanimous consent, present the following persons for service. There were 6 positions. 9 folks applied for 6 positions. And so here's what we have. I'll start with the officers. For president-elect, and I will ask you to stand so folks will know who you are. Jeffrey Sunakawa from Texas. For vice president, Rick Pierce from Pennsylvania. For secretary treasurer, Charleston Carter from the District of Columbia. That is the officer slate recommendation. For board service, now I ask you all to stand and be recognized. Roger Rand from Oregon. Cheryl Stone from Oregon. Thank you, Cheryl. And Brandon Kamira from Hawaii. Brandon's watching us remotely right now. So Brandon, congratulations on your nomination. With that, I want to also recognize the nomination committee members so you know who they were. Nicole Garcia, Marcus Rankensmeyer, Dorothy Howell, Michelle Donovan, Kevin Lane, and myself. So those are the nominations for service on board membership. Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons, and thank you again to him and all the folks that worked on nominations. I'm going to take a brief moment of presidential prerogative and say that all of you are the most important. Because it's you all that make up NACM as our organization. So, on behalf of the National Association for Court Management, are there any nominations from the floor? Yes. Okay, we have a motion on behalf of a member to nominate Tina Madison from Arizona for the position of Secretary Treasurer. Is there a second? Second? Okay. And I recognize you as a current member of the organization, so that is a valid second for Tina Madison from Arizona for Secretary Treasurer. Are there any additional nominations from the floor? Okay, I have a motion to close the nominations from one of our past presidents. Do I have a second to close the nominations? I second. We have a second, valid second from a member to close the nominations. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we will close the nominations. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a contested race. here is what will happen. So listen closely for just a moment, if you will. We are prepared for this because we are good court managers, and we are prepared for any contingency that may become apparent to us. Tomorrow morning, just after we do our announcements and just prior to the State of the Profession address, our two candidates that are for the contested position of the Secretary-Treasurer will be given 3 minutes each to present their case to you, our members, tomorrow morning, so right about 8:35 or so. So we encourage everyone to be here. Very soon following that, each of you that is a current member that is here in person, as well as all members who are attending virtually, will receive an email from us with those two candidates on them. You will be asked 2 questions. 1, to confirm that you are a current member in good standing, and then 2, to cast your vote. Those votes will be kept open until the business meeting on Thursday. When we reconvene on Thursday, we will give you an opportunity to make sure that you have completed your votes while we're doing our opening announcements, and then we will give you a 5-minute warning that the voting will be over. We will ask you to complete your vote if you have not already done so, and then as we continue our business meeting, we will complete the election process. Hope that was very clear for everyone. So I do encourage everyone to attend tomorrow morning to hear from our two candidates. We encourage you in the meantime to take a look at their information. All board candidates, their application and their resume, if necessary, is included on the conference app. So between now and Thursday, or between now and whenever you vote, after you get your email, take a look at all the information they presented, listen in to what they have to say tomorrow morning, because again, these folks are the future of our organization, and we encourage you to be part of that. I have a couple of quick announcements that we will then reconvene our business meeting Thursday at 8:30. We have 2 more breakout sessions this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, as I mentioned, will begin at 8:30, so please be prompt. Breakfast is on your own tomorrow morning. The Fun Run Walk is also tomorrow morning. Yes, it is early at 6 a.m. Your information may say the lobby. We'll have somebody in the lobby to redirect you, but we're going to ask you to go through the breezeway of the main building here, pass on to the other side of the parking lot. You'll see kind of a little park area. That's where we'll be gathering for it. And I will tell you, there is a prize, and it is a prize you want. For the top runners, male and female, and for the top walkers, male and female, you will get to choose a t-shirt of your choosing from the NACM swag. The color, the size, the style, and that will be mailed to you from our Amazon store, so that if you don't have swag, you soon will. So whether you're walking or running or just want to come out and hang out with us for a little while tomorrow morning, we encourage you to do so. So we are hereby in recess until Thursday morning, and we'll see you in just a bit at the 2 o'clock sessions. Thank you all.